What's up, guys? Welcome to my taekwondo journey. Taekwondo in my daily life to improve my daily life and how it can improve yours as well. I got back from practice and it's been a pretty rough week on my muscles. So the suggestion to me was to take a really warm bath, and I'm going to take one right after this with some Epsom salts. This is really good for rebuilding, giving your muscles a break, give them time to rebuild themselves after a lot of kicks, a tough workout. Another thing that's great is also to make sure you're getting protein after your workouts, ideally 30 minutes to an hour after you work out, to make sure your muscles are rebuilding themselves properly. And when they're breaking down, you're going to need to replenish them. So warm salts and protein is what is recommended. And you could do some research into what protein is right for you. What works for me is plant-based protein. I don't like to have a lot of animal protein, especially not dairy products, because it's just hard. I found it's harder on the body to assimilate and digest. It could cause other issues as well. So I try to stick to a clean plant-based diet as much as I can. I feel like it's helped me a lot. It's given me a lot more energy and a lot more clarity of thought. There's actually a lot of fighters now who are going on a vegan diet, and if you Google them and see what's worked for them, you can learn more about their regimen and what they eat and why they choose what they eat. Okay, so the topic of this video I wanted to introduce is a more spiritual topic, and it's called The Dark Night of the Soul, 5 signs you're in it and 5 ways I found that are solutions to get you out of it. So what is the dark night of the soul? The dark night of the soul is basically, it's a spiritual concept that is basically an ego death, and it happens when your whole life starts to fall apart. Major issues of your life start to come to a head. Things start turning upside down. Everything goes wrong, and it happens all at once. And it puts you in a state where you think you can't get out of it, and things are hopeless. You start to lose faith that anything's here to save you, anything's good on the planet. You start to feel very disillusioned with life, disillusioned with the way things work on the planet. And it's basically when you hit rock bottom. And what it means to me is not really rock bottom, it is the beginning of a spiritual awakening for most people. And what do I mean by that? I mean, it's the beginning of seeing life as truly beautiful and being grateful for everything that you have, because when you hit rock bottom, there's something about it that makes you start to count your blessings, because there seems like there's so few. And when you start to notice the good things happening in your life, and you start to appreciate all the things you took for granted because you've been going through a hard time for so long, you start to get a new lease on life. And to me, the dark night of the soul is also an accelerated healing process, because basically everything is being stripped away from you that you once knew, and it gives you a chance to grow. To me, it's like a pruning of trees. If you prune all the bad parts of the trees and the excess parts, it grows a lot more beautiful than before. So earlier on, I was called to kind of a healing. Something inside of me said, okay, you got to heal things. So I started with the Ho'oponopono, and I started healing, and I started doing clearing my mind with the Pumzes and Taekwondo. And all of a sudden, things started falling apart in my life, like really fast. Every major aspect of my life had been turned upside down, basically. And that's when I knew accelerated healing was at hand, and the dark night of the soul was upon me. And I didn't realize it at first, because I thought that I've already been through the dark night of the soul. But what I learned is that you can go through it again. And because I've already been through it, and I came out of it much better than before, I know that I can also come out of this much better than before. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And I'm here to share with you some things that helped me through my first one and that are helping through my second one, so that anyone who is going through a dark, dark time in your life can find solace in some of these tips and in your taekwondo if you are a taekwondoist like me. So let's get started. The first sign you're in the dark night of the soul is that your life is falling apart. Major events of your life are just shattering all at once. And what this is the ego death. So what does that mean? What does the ego death mean? It means that all the titles that your ego once held, like boss or a work title, relationship title, financial title, what else? The car you drive, the clothes you wear, the things you find important, your hobbies. All of that is breaking down. So you might have a relationship breakdown. You might have a job loss. You might have financial issues. You might have falling out with your friends. You might maybe lost interest in all of your hobbies, or completely just stop improving in your hobbies. Like everything turns upside down and it's the opposite of what it used to be. And this is when you are shed of all your titles and your ego is crying out because it's scared. There's fear involved, right? You lose your identity, basically. You don't have anything to hold on to anymore. You don't have the job, you don't have the relationship titles, you don't have any titles to hold on to anymore. So what's the solution to this? Well, I found that the solution to major events in your life falling apart is twofold. And one is to surrender to it. And that is because what you resist persists. So the more you resist what is going on, the harder it's going to be for you. And this has happened to me so many times. Resisting definitely makes it harder. You might want to hold on to everything you got, but there's a reason that those things are melting away. And it is to give you a new lease on life. It's giving you a new chance. It's giving you time to recreate yourself. So that's the second thing. You're a blank slate now. Now that all the titles are gone, now that everything has washed away, you're essentially a blank slate and that can recreate yourself into anything you want. So if you, for instance, had a breakup, now is the chance to find a partner who's an even better fit for you. Maybe a partner who does taekwondo with you, if you didn't do taekwondo in the first place. Or a partner that finally treats you right, or a partner that finally gets your jokes, or maybe a partner that you get his jokes finally. It's just a chance to go for what you want. And your whole life is falling apart because something is giving you the chance to recreate your life exactly how you want it to be. And that is something in your control, and that is something completely possible. We are creating our own lives every single second. So this is your chance to recreate your life into something that you want to be. It's a fact that the brain can't tell the difference between fear and excitement. So when your life is falling apart and when you're losing everything you once knew, it's natural to feel fear. And that's what your ego is calling out to you, crying out, because it's in fear of losing who it once was, its identity. Losing its identity until you feel a loss, so you feel confused. But have you ever been on a roller coaster? You're on a roller coaster, you might feel you have a choice between feeling scared, terrified, or you could feel excited. And it really doesn't make the difference to your brain. You could tell yourself, this is terrifying, this is terrifying, this is terrifying. Or the next time you're on a roller coaster, try to say to yourself, this is exciting, I love it, I love the adrenaline rush. And that's essentially what you're doing. Instead of feeling scared that your old life is falling apart, why not feel excited that you have the opportunity to create your life exactly how you want it to be. I mean, this is a huge opportunity. This is a huge gift. Every problem you have is a gift. So when you're going through a lot of crap right now, it's a gift, because it's a chance to make this part of your life whatever you wanted it to be. So the second sign of being in the dark night of the soul is that your life is changing so fast that your emotions can't keep up. So maybe you start to feel like you're telling your friends gibberish and they're looking at you like you're crazy, or maybe you just burst out in anger sometimes when you shouldn't have, or any other thing that characterizes like an emotional overload, for instance. So when you're going through big things happening in your life at such a fast pace, sometimes your emotions can't keep up. And why does this happen? This happens because your mind is full of garbage, and the solution to this is something that my sabanim, or my taekwondo instructor, suggested to me, and that was to clear your mind. So when you're feeling overwhelmed with emotions and you feel like everything you say is gibberish to people, or you feel just you can't function correctly because you can't see straight, it's only because there's nothing wrong with you. It's only because you have too much garbage in your mind, and that's an easy fix. All you have to do is clear it, and here are some suggestions. You can go over to my Ho'oponopono video and do the Ho'oponopono prayer for 1 to 2 minutes of just chanting the mantra in silence, feeling the love in your heart, and it will do wonders to clear your mind. If that doesn't suit you, you can also do with what my friend Nikki Sutton recommends, has taught me, and you could also check out her new healing course. I also mentioned it in another video, but I'm going to link the description down below. She recommends sitting in silence and having each thought like kind of move away in a cloud. So if you're sitting in silence and you could be thinking something like, oh, when is this going to end? Just let the thought, acknowledge the thought, let it go away in a cloud, and then continue to focus on nothing. And invariably each thought will start to pass, and there's going to be a lot of thoughts because your mind is full of these thoughts and full of this junk that is just going to go one by one in the cloud. And it really helps to stay there for maybe 10 minutes. Just give yourself 10 minutes, and I know it's so hard, but give yourself 10 minutes and start to get your thoughts flowing through the clouds. Just acknowledge them and let them go. Don't pay attention to them. You don't have to pay attention to them, but just acknowledge that they're there and let them go. So clearing your mind and emptying your mind is definitely very important. If meditation and chanting mantras are not for you, what I recommend is a book by Eckhart Tolle called The Power of Now. And this book I've read multiple times. Whenever I'm going through a bad time in my life, I always read that book, and it helps me a lot because the words are so beautiful and so profound. I mean, they're very simple, but they're so simple and beautiful and profound that you can't help but being taken into a beautiful present moment. And what really only matters is the present moment. And just reading his words just makes me feel very calm and in control. And once you're in the present moment, you can act from there. You can take great action from being aware in the present moment. You never take good action if you're worried about the past or concerned about the future. You only take the most perfect and best action when your mind is clear and when you're in the present moment. So I'm going to link a link to the book I mentioned down below. I highly recommend you get a copy of this book. It has saved me so many times out of garbage in my mind, and it has set me in a great path towards clear thinking just by reading the book. Very calming. Eckhart Tolle is a great teacher, and I wish you great luck with that. Okay, what's the third sign that I found you're in the dark night of the soul? So sign number 3 is you have persistent, negative, pessimistic emotions and feelings of hopelessness. So this is a big one. You feel consumed by a negative spiral of emotions that you don't know what's up or down. And it's hard to talk to people because people just, sometimes they can't take your negativity, and they might make it seem like there's something wrong with you. But what I found is that there's nothing wrong with you. You just need to stop, get a grip, go in the present moment, and then do this solution that I recommend. So it is proven that when you're in a state of gratitude, you can't be in a negative emotional state. So it's either one or the other. Therefore, the solution is gratitude. And how do you implement gratitude exactly? Well, what I do is I write down 10 things I'm grateful for. So I make a gratitude list. I write the 10 things I'm grateful for, and I write why I'm grateful for them. And then at the end, I go through the list again and I say thank you, thank you, thank you for each thing on the list. Now, it's really important to write these down, and it's really important to have a reason why you're grateful for them. Because when you write that reason why, it gets imprinted even deeper in your nervous system, this memory of gratitude, and you're more effectively able to take yourself out of a negative emotional spiral. And the reason why you go through it again and say thank you, thank you, thank you, not just by saying it out loud, but by also looking at it, you're taking it in through several senses of your body, and this makes it even harder to not to feel correctly. So the goal is to feel those feelings of gratitude. And I know it's not going to take one time. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. So therefore, it's very important to write down these steps, write down the 10 things you're grateful for. Just take a step every day, just a little step. You might not notice anything at first, but just keep writing those 10 things you feel grateful for and find different things you feel grateful for. And you take a step forward every single day. And before you know it, you will look back at where you are now and where you used to be just by taking those little small steps, and then you realize how far you've come. And then you might even realize that you're out of the dark night of the soul. Okay, so the 4th sign you're in the dark night of the soul is that you might have a lot of physical ailments. What I found is that maybe you feel exhausted, or maybe you feel achy. Your body feels really achy from taekwondo, and you might need to take a salt bath. But so the reason why your body is feeling tired and achy is because you're going through a lot emotionally. Your emotions are running wild. But I've given you some tips on how to tame your emotions, clearing your mind, gratitude, recreating yourself, becoming excited for the new life that you have the opportunity to create, all that. But the solution to this one is simply to take care of yourself and to give yourself a break. So needless to say, you're going through a lot if you're going through the dark night of the soul. A lot. It's probably the hardest time of your life. So you got to give yourself a break. Your body is physically telling you that it needs a break. So if you got to take a day off from taekwondo, or take a day off, take a warm salt bath, do things that relax you, get some great nutrition, get some great food, eat some wonderful salads with lots of raw vegetables, colorful vegetables, get some great plant-based protein, get some hemp hearts, some chia seeds, some spirulina, get all that good stuff. The more you give yourself great nutrition and the more you take care of yourself, the better you're going to feel. I mean, how much better would you feel by drinking a cup of green juice versus eating a pizza? I don't know about you, but my body is very, very sensitive to those kind of things, especially after you've been through a dark night of the soul. and you start to eat clean and you start to know the importance of eating clean, if you ever eat ice cream or pizza again, your body's going to just reject it. So it's really important to eat very clean and be kind to yourself. Give the body the nutrition that it needs and give yourself a break. So the fifth sign you're going through the dark night of the soul is that your ego lies to you. So what does that mean? That means you hear things in your head like you're never going to get another job, or you're not good enough, or maybe you're always going to be alone, you're never going to find another partner, that kind of thing, or oh, this date won't work out, oh, this relationship won't work out, oh, this interview is going to go badly, he's never going to like you, or you're never going to have enough money to get what you want, that kind of thing. So those are lies, and those are limiting beliefs. And just know that the ego is trying to lie to you because it doesn't want you to get hurt. So if maybe you just went through a breakup, for instance, it probably hurt a lot. And your ego is saying, oh, this relationship is never going to work out, your next one, or you're never going to meet a guy or a woman that loves you, because it doesn't want you to go through that breakup again. It's scared. Again, it's acting on the base of fear. So the solution to that is to not take its counsel. It's not your counselor. It's not your lawyer. Don't take its counsel. You're the counselor. You're the lawyer. You are everything. So just acknowledge it and say to it, ego, I understand that you're trying to help me. Thank you. But I don't need your help. I'm in control. So just say, I don't need your help. I am in control. And you are in control. You're making the decisions. You don't have to listen to its lies and limiting beliefs. And the reason you know it's a lie is because it's a limiting belief. Like, you're never going to find someone that loves you, right? Is that true? Is that really true? Ask yourself that. That's completely limiting. What's a better belief? There's someone out there that could love me. There's someone out there. How many people are on this planet? Billions of people, 6 billion people on this planet. There's got to be someone, That's a better belief. Or, I find them when I find them. That's a better belief. Or, I deserve to have someone love me like I love them, or like I love myself. Just better beliefs. All those beliefs your ego is starting to tell you during this period are lies, because the ego is scared of going through this pain again. So you just got to let go. First, you got to let go. You have to surrender. You have to be grateful. You have to recreate yourself. And you just got to stop listening to the lies, because that's all there are, lies. I know quite a few people going through the dark night of the soul where they're thinking of thoughts of suicide. That is a huge red flag. They should get help immediately. That's a huge lie as well. And I know this because take your heart, for example. Your heart was given to you by something, some higher power, for free. And you were born. You didn't owe them anything. You were born for free. Someone gave you this gift. Who are you to take that away? That's a gift given to you because you were worthy, and that you were worth something, and your life means something. That's the logic of it, and that's the logic that I've taken out of it. But if anyone has thoughts of suicide, it's really important to talk to someone. It's really important to call a crisis hotline and to get some help. If you can't discern that to be a lie, get some help immediately. I'm going to stop there and move on to another sign. And it's going to be the 6th sign of the dark night of the soul. It's a bonus sign for you. And that is you or old hobbies and things that have once brought you joy no longer bring you joy. So what to do about that? What I found the best solution to that is to do them anyway, but to not do them with the expectation that they'll bring you joy, but do that with more of the appreciation for what you're doing. And that's essentially, the goal of that is essentially to bring catharsis, to do them for catharsis and to do them as a way to get yourself more into the present moment. Once again, the key to everything is the present moment. And what I found is that when you substitute expectation for appreciation, it changes your life in that moment. So take away the expectation and just keep on going through these things that used to make you joy with the appreciation for the things the joy that it's brought you in the past, for what they are. And I know taekwondo is amazing for people to push people through this kind of period in your life, because it's a physical exercise and you have to lead with your body. And when your body feels good, your mind follows. It's always physiology first. If you can't change your mental state, first change your physiology, change something, do a kick, do a poomsae, you'll realize that you start to feel a lot better. So taekwondo is amazing for this kind of thing. And another reason is that your brain works on habit and ritual. So keep doing these kind of things in your life. Make it a habit, make it a ritual. Your brain will respond to that. It's no secret that people in the military, they go through rituals every day, and that's where they get their confidence, their self-assuredness. And when they stop and they come home from the military and they no longer do those exercises in the morning, for instance, or whatever type of ritual they had, they start to lose identity sometimes. So keep doing the ritual. It's how to train your brain to be in a certain state. And you want your brain to always be in a peak state, to be the most empowered, to get things done, to be the best you can be, so that you can give the most out of your life. So it's really important to have a ritual. What else I wanted to say about that? Right, so a lot of people have spoken to me about divorces and like how depressed they are after divorces. So a divorce is a major, major life change. You may actually be in a dark night of the soul if you are getting a divorce, so that's enough to push you in. And that's good, because it's a healing. It's accelerated healing, and it means that you're soon to be spiritually awakened to the beauty and glory of life. So there's a lot to look forward to. And so what I found helps most divorced peoples is not only to keep a gratitude journal that you do every single morning. The thing that helps them the most is having a ritual. Something to look forward to when you wake up, or just something to do when you wake up, so that you're not engulfed in negative emotions the minute you wake up. So the key is to cut it off at the start. The minute you put your feet down from the bed, say thank you, thank you. Just say thank you twice. The act of saying it helps. Saying it out loud so your brain can hear it. Thank you. Your left foot down, thank you. Your right foot down, thank you. Go do a gratitude list after that and think of the things you're grateful for. Write them down. Do another ritual. Keep doing the things that made you happy. Is it reading? Go grab a book. Is it jogging? Go outside and jog. Is it shopping? Well, you don't want to spend all your money. So find a habit that's very organic and helpful to you, not a destructive habit like physical exercise that brings you growth. The best habits and the best rituals that make you that bring you joy are the ones that bring you growth, like exercise, like meditation, like cooking great food, like being nutritious. What else has brought you joy? Listening to music? Listen to music. Talking to friends? Talk to your friend. Just think of the things that used to bring you joy that may not bring you joy now, but just know that making it a habit and making it a ritual is a great way to feed your mind great thoughts and healthy thoughts, and just take another step forward in your life to get out of this horrible period that you might be facing right now. The dark night of the soul can be very difficult for people. It is especially difficult when people start to realize the nature of the world and they start to get very disillusioned with the state of the world. For instance, they might realize the darkness of corporate politics. They might have seen it for the first time, and then they get very disillusioned with how it might work in the corporate workplace. People might get disillusioned to the way that the law works, and they realize the law doesn't always protect those that are right, and it can be easily manipulated by people who do not have good intentions, who are toxic at the detriment of the people who are more healthy. So just the state of unfairness in the world is enough sometimes to bring people into the dark night. And in conjunction with things falling apart in your life and emotions going high and out of control because things are moving so fast. But think about the solutions that worked for me, and think about what you can implement in your life. Get the book that I described below by Eckhart Tolle. Check out Nikki Sutton's healing course if you're a fan. And keep practicing taekwondo if you are a taekwondoist like me. So if you liked what you heard and you found it helpful, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching as always.